Ladies and gentlemen, every morning, beloved soul, heaven itself stands at attention, waiting, not for toil, not for frantic action, not for human cunning, but for your word. As dawn breaks and light stretches across the horizon, Infinite Spirit leans close, listening for the command that will set the day in divine motion. This is no idle notion or poetic dream. This is law, immutable and eternal. By thy words thou shalt be justified. Yet how many wake each morning imprisoned by yesterday's burdens. They roll from their beds already defeated, already entangled in the false belief that life is fixed, that fate is immovable, that circumstances dictate destiny. They rise with heavy hearts, fearing the hours ahead, believing they must brace for battle, rather than stand in dominion. And so the day unfolds like a storm-tossed sea, each wave of trouble seemingly greater than the last. But hear this higher truth. You were never born to be tossed by life's currents. You were created to command them. The very first words you speak upon waking are not whispers into empty air. They are spiritual decrees, living forces, that shape every encounter, every opportunity, every outcome that fills your day. Life does not bend through human struggle. Life bends because spiritual law responds unfailingly to divine authority spoken through you. Florence Scovel Shinn taught this timeless principle. Your word is your wand. A wand does not beg. It does not hope. It directs with certainty. So too must your morning words be. For the moment you speak with faith, the entire unseen universe moves like an obedient servant to fulfill your decree. Angels go forth to open doors that seemed locked. Infinite intelligence orchestrates events you could never plot or plan. The day, once hostile and unpredictable, bows to your spoken word, reshaped into harmony with your highest good. Pause and feel this truth. As the sun rises, the heavens are not indifferent to you. Divine favor surrounds you as a shield. Every atom in creation, every unseen current of energy is waiting for your word to command it. You need not stumble through mornings burdened and powerless. Stand up, beloved soul. Open your mouth with authority. Speak and watch life itself bend in your favor. This is where transformation begins. Not with frantic effort, but with a single faith-filled word that aligns you with Spirit. From this day forward, you do not wake to react to the world. You rise to direct it. You do not beg for favor. You declare it. The first light of morning is not just the sun breaking darkness. It is your spirit breaking limitation, wielding the creative power of the spoken word. Speak it and the day cannot help but obey. Beloved soul, let us turn and face the quiet H that so many carry as they awaken each morning. There are those who open their eyes not to greet new day filled with divine possibilities, but to meet the same walls of limitation that have shadowed them for years. They rise from restless sleep, hearts already heavy with dread for what awaits. Stacked bills on the table, strained relationships unresolved, health weighed down by exhaustion. Opportunities once hoped for now faded like morning mist. This silent suffering goes unspoken, but it is real. You may have felt it yourself. The sense that no matter what you do, no matter how hard you push or how faithfully you try, life remains unmoved like an unyielding stone lodged in the path of your destiny. You have whispered prayers in the night, promising to do better, to work harder, to be more patient, only to wake to find the same chains still coiled around your future. And in these moments, a shadow of despair creeps in. The whisper of defeat says, "Perhaps this is simply my fate. Perhaps I was not meant for abundance or joy. Perhaps life bends only for others, but not for me." And so mornings become battles before the first step is even taken. The rising sun no longer feels like a promise, but a cruel reminder that you are trapped in cycles you cannot break. But hear me, beloved. These feelings, though they seem overwhelming, are not truth. They are phantoms of fear, illusions of separation, lies whispered by a world that has forgotten divine law. They tell you that life is rigid, fixed, stacked against you, when in fact life is a supple vine, waiting for the word of spirit to guide its every twist and bloom. Your longing for change is not weakness. It is the stirring of the Christ within you, to awaken and speak your reality into divine order. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Nothing stands between man and his highest ideals and every desire of his heart, but doubt and fear." Each morning that you wake with dread or hopelessness is not proof of divine neglect. It is simply the echo of words unspoken, of truth yet undeclared. The power to command the day has never left you. It has only lain dormant like a sword resting in its sheath. Feel this now. Your longing for freedom, your aching for favor and blessing is the whisper of heaven calling you to remember your authority. That ache is not meant to lead you into despair, but to stir you into action, to remind you that when morning comes, you have the choice to remain silent or to speak words that bend life itself. The door out of limitation has never been locked. It has only awaited the sound of your divine command. This is why you are here, listening now. Not to be told that change is possible in some distant tomorrow, but to awaken to the truth that this very morning, the power to command your destiny is in your tongue. Heaven is poised. The unseen universe waits. Your own soul is ready to rise and declare the life you were meant to live. The pain of your past mornings is the soil from which a new dawn will spring. And now together we will plant the words that break every chain and shape every day into divine victory. Now that we have faced the ache of waking, powerless, let us lift the veil and step into the light of divine revelation. For Florence Scovel Shinn, this was no abstract concept, but the living, breathing law by which the universe moves. Your word is your wand. With this wand, you do not strike at fate or wrestle with circumstance. You direct unseen forces with holy certainty, and life reshapes itself to obey. Think of it. Each morning is not a blank page of chaos, but a living canvas that responds instantly to the brush strokes of your spoken word. The subconscious mind, like a fertile field, waits in stillness for the seed you plant. As the day begins, the very first thought, the very first phrase you speak upon rising becomes the rudder steering the great ship of your life. You may have wondered why days seem to repeat like a grim echo of yesterday. It is because the same words, the same defeated thoughts have been spoken again and again, setting the same weary course. But here is the law revealed. As surely as night follows day, the spoken word shapes reality. When you rise each morning and speak words of divine authority, truths rooted in spirit rather than fear, the subconscious receives these commands as law. And once impressed upon it, the subconscious becomes an unyielding servant, working tirelessly, aligning circumstances, summoning people and opportunities, bending every condition to reflect the decree it has been given. Imagine a mighty river flowing before you. Untamed, It rushes where it will, carving paths of its own design. But the moment you speak with faith, you become, as one who builds channels and bridges, directing that river with precision, allowing it to water fields of prosperity, joy, health, and success. Without your word, the river runs wild. With it, the river bends to serve your divine purpose. Jesus himself revealed this eternal principle. Whosoever shall say unto this mountain, Be thou removed, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass, he shall have whatsoever he saith. Notice he did not say, Whoso shall wish or whosoever shall hope. He said, Whosoever shall say. The law of spirit moves not on silent longing, but on the commanding word spoken in faith. Florence declared, The invisible forces are ever working for man, who is always pulling the strings himself, though he does not know it. Every morning you have pulled invisible strings with careless words or fearful silence. But once you awaken to this law, you no longer speak idly. You wield your tongue as a sacred instrument of creation. With it you cancel old decrees of failure and issue new royal commands of victory. From this moment, see mornings not as passive hours that happen to you, but as divine workshops where you and infinite spirit craft the day together. As dawn breaks, heaven leans close, awaiting your word. And once you speak it, strong, unwavering, aligned with divine law, the very fabric of life bends to bring it to pass. Understand this fully. You are never a victim of your mornings or your days. You are their author, and with each sunrise you hold the wand of spiritual authority in your hand. Speak truth and watch as unseen forces ever obedient to divine law transform every step of your day into a pathway of favor and abundance. Beloved soul, let us now open the sacred scroll of Scripture and behold the unshakable foundation upon which this entire teaching rests. We do not rely on human optimism nor on fleeting inspiration. For divine favor is not a temporary breeze. It is an eternal law rooted in the very nature of God himself. The psalmist declared with holy certainty, For you, Lord, will bless the righteous. With favor you will surround him as with a shield. This is not mere poetry. It is a statement of spiritual principle, a revelation of how spirit moves to protect, guide, and prosper those aligned with divine truth. Favor is not an occasional stroke of luck. It is the atmosphere of heaven that clings to every child of God. Like the air you breathe or the sunlight that warms your skin, favor is ever present, waiting for recognition and acceptance. The problem is not its absence, but the blindness of human fear which refuses to see and speak it. When you awaken each morning, heaven has already wrapped you in this shield of favor. Angels of guidance have already been dispatched to clear obstacles from your path. Doors that seem closed are already being unlocked. The law of divine harmony is already aligning circumstances for your highest good. Yet if you rise speaking words of fear dread, you turn your back on what has already been given. Jesus, the master metaphysician, affirmed this law when he taught, What things soever ye desire when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. Notice the tense. Believe that you already receive. Divine favor is not a future hope, but a present reality. Each morning when your feet touch the ground, you stand not in lack or uncertainty, but in the center of this favor, surrounded as by a radiant shield, invisible to the senses, yet more real than the earth beneath you. Florence Scovel Shinn understood this law deeply. She wrote, "Faith knows it has already received and acts accordingly." To speak morning declarations is not to beg for favor or strain to create it. It is to acknowledge what Spirit has eternally decreed. You are not trying to summon blessings from afar. You are stepping consciously into the stream of favor already flowing around you, claiming your rightful place as co-heir with Christ in the kingdom of abundance. Picture this as you awaken. Unseen hands lay before you a royal robe, embroidered with threads of divine opportunity, perfect health, radiant joy, and inexhaustible provision. Every moment of your day is meant to be guided by heavenly wisdom, shielded from harm, and prospered in every endeavor. To ignore this robe is to stumble through the day clothed in the rags of fear and doubt. But to rise each morning, declare the word of truth, and put on this robe is to walk as one who knows. God's favor is upon me, and everything in my day bends to serve my highest good. When you speak words of faith each morning, you activate this law consciously. Like a lamp plugged into an eternal power source, you shine with divine certainty, and the world cannot help but respond. Encounters that might have brought conflict dissolve into peace. Obstacles that once stood firm crumble like dust. Opportunities that seemed impossibly distant draw near as if pulled by unseen hands. This is not magic nor human manipulation. It is the unbreakable law of divine favor at work. Beloved, stop rising as though you are alone in a hostile world. Begin to wake as one divinely escorted, surrounded on every side by heavenly protection and guidance. Speak it aloud. Feel it in your soul. This morning I awaken clothed in divine favor. Every step I take is shielded by heaven's blessing. Infinite Spirit has gone before me, making my way smooth, prosperous, and divinely ordered. The moment these words leave your lips in faith, the day itself reshapes to fulfill them. For divine favor is not fragile. It is law, and law always holds. Beloved soul, having unveiled the divine law of favor, let us tear away the greatest deception that has kept you from living in its fullness, the illusion of powerlessness. From the moment you were born, the world began weaving this lie around your mind, whispering that you are subject to chance, to circumstance, to the whims of fortune. It told you that you must strive without rest, and accept defeat as part of life's cruel game. And every morning, as the sun rose, this lie chained your spirit tighter, convincing you that you are but a pawn on life's great board, pushed and pulled by forces you cannot control. But hear me now. This belief is a mirage. It has no truth, no power, no spiritual foundation. Powerlessness is a shadow cast by fear and ignorance. It is not part of the divine for your life. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, "Fear is only inverted faith. It is faith in evil instead of good." When you rise each morning overwhelmed, dreading the day ahead, it is not because life is against you, but because faith has been misdirected. You have believed more in appearances than in the eternal law of spirit. Think of a leaf tossed in the wind. It flutters helplessly, carried wherever the gust blows. Many live like this, convinced they have no anchor, no control, no say in their destiny. But you are not a leaf, beloved. You are the wind itself. The same divine breath that spoke galaxies into existence flows through your very being. The power that commands seas and moves mountains has been entrusted to your word, to your faith, to your spiritual authority. The only chains that bind you are the ones you have unknowingly forged with fear, doubt, and self-condemning thoughts. Florence once told the story of a woman trapped in endless misfortune. Each morning she rose expecting struggle, speaking words of defeat, rehearsing fears that became her reality. Yet the moment she learned to rise and declare, "I have a magical day in a magical way. Everything I desire and require is released to me under grace in perfect ways," her entire life shifted. Doors opened where walls once stood. Opportunities appeared without human effort. Favor met her like sunlight, streaming through once locked shutters. The world had not changed. She had changed. She had laid down the illusion of helplessness and picked up the scepter of divine command. This is what morning declarations do. They awaken you from the hypnotic trance of powerlessness. They remind you that you are not at the mercy of outer conditions. Life bends not because the universe takes pity on you, but because Spirit responds to your spoken word, reshaping matter and circumstance to mirror the divine authority you reclaim each dawn. See this now in your own life. How many days have been lost to the echo of this illusion? How many mornings have been surrendered to fear before the first word was even spoken? Yet even in those moments, heaven never withdrew its promise. Infinite Spirit waited patiently for you to awaken, to remember, to speak as the divine heir you are. From this day forward, you will no longer rise as a powerless observer of your own destiny. You will wake as a ruler seated on a throne of spiritual law, issuing decrees that command every moment your day to align with divine harmony. When fear tries to whisper that you are helpless, you will speak louder. I am not moved by appearances. I command my day with divine authority. Infinite Spirit moves through me, bends life in my favor, and makes my path smooth and victorious. The illusion of powerlessness crumbles the moment you speak these truths. Chains of limitation shatter, shadows flee, and you stand revealed as what you have always been, a being of divine dominion, entrusted with the power to command each morning to bend life itself through the living word of Spirit. Now, beloved soul, having torn away the veil of powerlessness, let us paint a vision upon your inner canvas, a metaphor that reveals your true position in the grand symphony of life. Imagine the world as a vast orchestra, countless instruments playing their parts. The hum of commerce, the rhythm of relationships, the melodies of health and creativity, the harmonies of opportunity and provision. For many, this orchestra plays without guidance, a cacophony of clashing sounds. Each day, a discordant improvisation of chaos and reaction. But you, awakened child of infinite spirit, were never meant to sit as a silent spectator in this concert. You were created to stand at its helm as the divine conductor, baton in hand, directing every instrument with authority and grace. From the moment you open your eyes each morning, the orchestra awaits your signal. With a mere gesture of faith, with a word spoken in harmony with spiritual law, you cue the strings of prosperity to swell, the trumpets of opportunity to sound, the gentle flutes of peace to sing through your day. Picture it, a vast concert hall stretching beyond sight, filled with the unseen forces of creation. Every musician attuned to your inner command. When you speak in fear, the instruments falter, producing dissonance and delay. But when you rise and declare divine truth with confidence, the orchestra responds instantly, shifting into perfect harmony. Every note align, every rhythm syncs with heaven's timing. And what was once noise becomes music so divine it bends the very fabric of reality in your favor. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote, "Man must prepare for the thing he has asked for, when there isn't the slightest sign of it in sight." The morning is that preparation. It is the rehearsal before the masterpiece unfolds. Just as a conductor lifts their baton before the first note is played, so must you lift your word before the day begins. It is in this silent command, this morning declaration, that the entire symphony of your life is set into motion. Understand this. You do not need to know every musician or control every instrument. The infinite composer has already scored the music of your destiny. Your task is only to take your rightful place as conductor, aligning your intent and your speech with the divine composition already written for you. When you do, unseen players, the right people, resources, ideas, and circumstances rise from their seats and play their parts flawlessly, ushering you into divine success without strain. Now see yourself there, standing upon that podium of spirit, clothed not in doubt or hesitation, but in radiant authority. The morning sun is your spotlight shining upon you as heaven hands you the baton of the spoken word. 1. Declaration from your lips, and the music begins. Harmonious, majestic, bending every note of life to serve your highest good. This is not imagination alone. It is spiritual reality. Every morning you awaken, you stand in this concert hall, baton in hand. The question is not whether the orchestra is present. It is whether you will conduct it or allow it to play without your divine direction. From this moment, vow never again to leave your orchestra leaderless. Begin each dawn by raising your voice, issuing commands that set the tempo for miracles, guiding the harmonies of abundance, directing the crescendos of favor and joy. Speak as a conductor of divine forces and watch as the discord of former days gives way to symphonies of triumph. For heaven itself responds to the one who knows their role. And when you conduct with faith, life has no choice but to play the music of your divine design. Beloved soul, now that you have awakened to your authority as divine conductor of the day, let us take the baton in hand and begin to speak the words that will summon heaven's orchestra into perfect harmony. These are not mere phrases or hopeful wishes. They are living decrees, spiritual commands carried on the breath of infinite spirit itself. When you speak these words, the universe listens. The subconscious mind obeys, and every unseen force begins to bend life in your favor. Stand or sit tall as you awaken to a new morning. Feel the earth beneath your feet, steady and holy, as though you are stepping onto sacred ground. Let your shoulders roll back and your chest open wide. For this is not the posture of defeat, but of dominion. Breathe deeply, drawing in divine energy. And as you exhale, release every remnant of fear and doubt into the nothingness from which they came. Now repeat after me slowly, deliberately allowing each word to vibrate through your being. This morning I awaken as a child of the Almighty. Infinite Spirit flows through me, and I command my day with divine authority. I am fearless. I am free. I am one with the substance of heaven. And every moment of today is filled with favor, joy, and overflowing good. Pause and let that settle deep within you. Feel it imprint upon your subconscious like a royal seal pressed into wax, unbreakable and eternal. The angels of provision have already begun to move at your command. Continue with me. The light of God shines upon my path, guiding my every step. I speak divine order into this day, and everything unfolds in perfect timing. Every person I meet is a golden link in the chain of my good. Every opportunity that belongs to me now finds me, and I walk through open doors prepared by infinite intelligence. See it now with your inner vision. Golden light illuminating your way. Obstacles dissolving like morning mist. Doors opening effortlessly, welcoming you into spaces of blessing and expansion. Speak this next declaration with strength. I declare that wealth, success, and happiness flow to me this day from every direction. I am an irresistible magnet for all that belongs to me by divine right. I give generously. I receive joyously, and I am richly supplied in every way. Let the truth of it resonate. Imagine blessings rushing toward you like rivers converging into a mighty ocean. Your hands and heart wide open to receive, without resistance. Now finish with gratitude, the highest form of faith. I give thanks that this day is already victorious. Infinite Spirit has gone before me, making my way smooth and prosperous. I walk in divine confidence, knowing that life bends now and always in my favor. Remain still for a moment. Feel peace envelop you like a radiant cloak. Know that these words are not empty sounds drifting into the air. They are creative forces that cannot return void. The subconscious mind has received its instructions, and the law of spirit has already begun shaping the day into alignment with your spoken word. Walk forward now, beloved, knowing that heaven itself moves to obey the decree you have just spoken. Beloved soul, let us now rise into an even higher current of faith and power as we continue with the second part of these guided morning declarations. The first wave of words has cleared the path and awakened the subconscious to divine direction. Now we will pour spiritual substance into every aspect of life: health, relationships, timing, and purpose. These words will not only bend life in your favor today, but establish a continual rhythm of blessing that resonates through every dawn yet to come. Stand in stillness for a moment and place your hand over your heart. Feel its steady beat, the divine metronome placed within you by Infinite Spirit. Know that as surely as your heart beats without your conscious command, spiritual law moves unfailingly to fulfill every faith-filled word you speak. With this knowing, lift your head and declare, I am filled with divine life and radiant health. Every cell of my body vibrates with perfect harmony. I am strong, energized, and glowing with the light of Infinite Spirit. I give thanks that I move today in perfect health, free from all limitation or infirmity. Feel healing warmth spread through your body, cleansing every shadow of weakness. Imagine divine light like liquid gold pouring into every organ, every joint, every muscle, restoring balance and strength beyond human understanding. Now speak over your relationships for harmony, and connection draws blessings more swiftly than isolated striving. Every relationship in my life is blessed with divine love and understanding. I am surrounded by people who uplift and support me. Infinite Spirit draws to me those who are part of my divine plan and removes with grace and ease those who are not. I give and receive love freely, joyously, and without fear. Visualize yourself meeting others today with kindness shining from your eyes and warmth radiating from your presence. See conflicts resolving effortlessly, old wounds mending in silence, and new friendships blooming with golden light. Move now to the timing of your blessings, For divine design knows no delay. All that belongs to me by divine right now flows to me swiftly and perfectly. There is no power that can hinder or delay my good. Infinite intelligence arranges every detail of my life with precision and ease. I am always in the right place at the right time, guided unfailingly by Spirit. Picture yourself walking through the day as though carried by invisible hands, arriving at each moment, not by chance, but by sacred orchestration. Feel peace wash over you as you release every thought of being late, missing out, or losing what is yours. The divine plan cannot be thwarted. And today, it unfolds flawlessly. Finally, let us speak over your purpose and perfect self-expression. I am now fulfilling my divine purpose with joy and enthusiasm. My unique gifts shine brightly and bless the world. Infinite Spirit expresses through me with power and clarity. Everything I do today prospers, and every word I speak carries the vibration of truth and blessing. See yourself moving through the hours ahead like a beacon of light. Every action inspired, every task flowing with ease, every effort magnified by divine energy. Now bring all of these truths together into a crescendo of gratitude and assurance. I give thanks that I live this day in divine favor and overflowing abundance. Infinite Spirit has set all things in order for my highest good. I am fearless, faithful, and victorious. This day bends in my favor now and always, and I walk in the joy of heaven made manifest. Take a deep breath and let these words sink into your subconscious like seeds planted in rich holy soil. Know that even now spiritual law is moving silently and surely to bring forth their harvest. Today cannot and will not resist your divine command. You have spoken truth, and truth has reshaped the very structure of the hours ahead. Go forth clothed in certainty, beloved soul, for life has already bent to obey. Your morning decree. Now that your morning words have been declared, let us go deeper beyond the audible voice, beyond conscious thought, into the sacred chamber of visualization, where spiritual substance begins to take visible form. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that man must prepare for the thing he has asked for when there isn't the slightest sign of it in sight. That preparation begins not with outer effort, but with inner vision for what you can see with your spirit, you can hold with your hands. Close your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath. Let the air move through you like wind through an open temple. As you exhale, release every lingering tension from your shoulders, your jaw, your spine. Let your body rest in peace, for now your spirit will take the lead. Now see yourself standing at the doorway of your day. The morning light has broken, not with haste or pressure, but with soft brilliance. Before you stretches the road of your day, not chaotic or uncertain, but illuminated with golden light. You take a step, and the ground beneath your feet feels sacred, as though heaven has gone before you and smoothed every stone, cleared every thorn, and straightened every crooked path. You move forward now, not as one reacting to the world, but as one who commands it in harmony with divine law. See doors ahead of you, once locked, once delayed, swing wide on golden hinges. These are the doors to opportunity, favor, wealth, healing, and perfect timing. You do not knock, they open as you pour. Your presence is charged with divine authority. Feel your shoulders rise in confidence. Your head is lifted high. Every cell of your being radiates expectancy. You meet people throughout the day, and they respond to you with grace, warmth, and generosity. not because you ask, but because you are walking in divine overflow. Every conversation flows easily. Every task unfolds smoothly. Every challenge dissolves before it even reaches your feet. You are not pushing the day into order. You are allowing heaven to orchestrate it around your spoken word. Now see one specific miracle, a desire you've long held in your heart. Perhaps it is a financial breakthrough, a healing in your body, the restoration of a relationship, or a long-awaited opportunity. See it now? Not as distant, not as unreachable, but is already here. Picture yourself receiving it with joy and grace. Feel the moment in your body, your heart lifting, your smile breaking, your spirit soaring as it arrives. Whisper within, "It is done, it has found me. I receive it now." Finally, look back on this day, not as one waiting to see if it will be blessed, but as one standing at its conclusion, giving thanks for how richly it has unfolded. See yourself at peace, filled with joy, marveling at how every moment bent in your favor. Say within, "I knew it, I spoke it, I saw it, and the law has fulfilled it." Take another deep breath. Let the vision anchor in your soul. When you open your eyes, know this: your inner world has been activated. The law has been set in motion. The day ahead has already been shaped by your faith, and now it must yield its fruit. Walk in it boldly, for life cannot help but follow the blueprint of spirit that you just revealed. Beloved soul, let me share with you a living testimony, a story that stands as a shining monument to the power of morning declarations and the spiritual law that never fails. This is the story of a woman by years of unending struggle. Each morning, she awoke with a heart heavy from yesterday's defeats, eyes clouded with dread for the day ahead. She felt as though life had marked her for hardship, as though an unseen force conspired to hold every door closed, every opportunity just out of reach. She tried everything: endless toil, careful planning, desperate prayers. But still the pattern repeated. Bills piled high. Relationships crumbled and her health roared under the strain of constant anxiety. One day, in the midst of her despair, she came across the teachings of Florence Scovel Shinn. She read the words, "Your word is your wand. The words you speak create your reality." At first, these words seemed too simple, too wondrous to be true. Could the power to change her life truly rest in the words she spoke each morning? But something stirred deep within her spirit, an ancient remembrance that this was truth. So the very next morning, instead of rising in fear, she placed her feet firmly on the ground, lifted her head with trembling yet resolute faith. I am divinely guided. Favor surrounds me like a shield. I walk today in perfect order, and every step I take leads to overflowing good. She felt a shift within her as though invisible chains were loosening from her soul. For the first time in years, she faced the day not as a helpless victim, but as a child of the Almighty clothed in spiritual dominion. And what happened next seemed nothing short of miraculous. That same day, a call came from an old acquaintance she had not spoken to in years, offering her a role in a project that aligned perfectly with her talents. A role that would eventually transform her finances and restore her confidence. Strange relationships began to mend without force or struggle. Health issues that had long plagued her started to ease as peace and joy replaced constant tension. Doors that had remained sealed for decades now swung wide on golden hinges, as though a hidden hand was guiding every event in her favor. But here is the deeper truth. These events were not miracles born from luck or sudden divine whimsy. They were the natural response of spiritual law to the word she had spoken. Each morning, as she continued to declare divine truth, her subconscious mind was being rewoven with a new pattern of victory. The invisible forces of spirit, always waiting and willing, finally had direction. Life itself bent, not reluctantly, not partially, but fully and joyously to match the decree of her faith-filled words. Months later, this woman would say with radiant certainty, "My life did not change because I fought harder or begged louder. It changed because I finally spoke as one who knew her power in spirit. I spoke it every morning, until my world had no choice but to obey." This story stands as a beacon to you. Now, if life has seemed unmovable, it is not because divine favor is absent. It is because the word of command has not yet been spoken with full authority. The law cannot act on unspoken truth or faith choked by fear. But the moment you rise and speak as one who knows that infinite spirit has already ordered your day, unseen powers move. Circumstances shift, people respond, opportunities appear. What was rigid and unyielding softens like clay in the hands of the master potter, bending to form a masterpiece of divine order and abundance. Beloved, this is not her story alone. It is yours waiting to unfold. Every morning is a new chance to wield the wand of your word and see life bend joyfully in your favor. You do not need years of struggle, only the courage to rise tomorrow and declare truth with unwavering faith. As Florence said, "Bless your day and expect miracles, and you shall have them." The testimony has been given. The law has been proven. Now it is your turn to step into its power. Beloved soul, let us now clothe these truths in sacred imagery. For the subconscious mind feasts on symbols, and spirit speaks in divine metaphors that bypass resistance and sink directly into the heart of belief. Morning is not merely a natural event. It is a living parable of spiritual law, a silent teacher whispering every day that you hold the power to command your destiny anew. See the sunrise breaking through darkness. All night the earth was cloaked in shadow. And yet, without strain or noise, light returns, sweeping darkness away, effortlessly. This is the power of morning declarations. The shadows of fear and limitation may loom large, but as you rise and speak with divine authority, you usher in spiritual dawn. Darkness has no strength of its own. It is simply the absence of light. The moment you speak words of truth and favor, it is as if the sun itself has risen within your consciousness, flooding every crevice of your day with light that bends even the most stubborn shadows out of existence. Picture the dew settling gently upon the fields at dawn. Each blade of grass glistens with countless droplets, jewels, formed silently through the night. They are not the result of toil or effort. They simply appear as a gift of nature's design. So it is with divine grace each morning. The moment you awaken and speak your word, invisible blessings begin to gather, resting gently upon the hours ahead, unseen yet undeniably real. By midday, these blessings will have nourished the soil of your life, bearing fruit that others will call miraculous, though you will know it as the quiet work of spirit responding to your decree. Envision a king stepping into his throne room as the morning light streams through tall windows. Courtiers bow low. Messengers rush to carry out his commands. and every subject awaits his word to set the affairs of the realm in motion. You, beloved, are this king or queen of your own divine kingdom. The kingdom of your life waits each morning for your decree. If you rise and remain silent, the court disperses without order, and the day becomes a muddled improvisation. But if you rise and speak with conviction, declaring abundance, peace, success, and perfect timing, your court leaps into motion, arranging every detail of your kingdom in alignment with your spoken word. Imagine also the farmer who knows that not for idle wandering, but for sowing seed, the land will only produce what is planted. If he sows thorns, he cannot expect wheat. If he scatters nothing, he cannot expect a harvest. And so it is with your words. Each morning is fertile, ground awaiting the seed of your decree. Every affirmation, every declaration of truth is a seed of divine substance that cannot fail to bear fruit. The harvest may not appear within the hour, but by spiritual law it is guaranteed. You need only rise and plant with faith, and life itself bends to produce the crop your words have sown. Finally, consider the mighty river at dawn. All through the night, unseen currents have been moving, carrying water from distant mountains, replenishing every tributary, preparing to surge forward with renewed strength as the sun rises. This river is divine favor flowing, constantly beneath the surface of your life. When you awaken and speak truth, you do not create the river. You simply open the channels that allow it to flood your day. Barriers that once dammed the flow crumble, and what seemed like a dry riverbed suddenly overflows with rushing water, carrying you effortlessly toward blessings prepared long before you spoke. Let these metaphors sink into your subconscious. Each morning is a sunrise of truth, a throne room of command, a field awaiting seed, a river ready to burst forth. You are not at the mercy of chance or chaos. You are the conductor of these forces, the royal heir to a kingdom that obeys your voice. Rise tomorrow and remember, when you speak divine words at dawn, you do more than start your day. You bend all of life to harmonize with the music of heaven. Beloved soul, as you awaken to the power of morning declarations, know this. The path to divine mastery does not always glide smoothly at first. Like a garden long neglected, the soil of your subconscious may be choked with weeds of fear, stones of disbelief, and old roots of limitation that resist the seeds of truth you now sow. Resistance and doubt are not proof that spiritual law has failed. They are simply echoes of the past, remnants of the false self struggle and hold its place as the divine self begins to rise in full authority. Florence Scovel Shinn spoke often of appearances, the external conditions that seem unmovable, the delays that whisper, "This is impossible," she said. Never do today what intuition says to do tomorrow. And likewise, she taught that appearances must never dictate your speech or your faith. When you begin declaring divine favor each morning, there will be moments when nothing seems to change. The bills may still arrive. The phone may remain silent. Relationships may not yet blossom into harmony. In these moments, the old self tempts you to retreat, to abandon the word, to conclude that it has no power. But hear this truth: spiritual law always works, moves, always fulfills the decree of faith. The apparent stillness is only the unseen roots pushing deeper into the soil before breaking through into visible bloom. Imagine a gardener who plants seeds in spring. Day after day, she waters the earth, yet for weeks sees no sign of life. Would she tear up the soil to see if the seed has failed? No. She trusts the law of growth, knowing the invisible process must complete itself before it appears in form. So, must you trust spiritual law as you continue to speak truth each morning? The subconscious mind is fertile, but years of fearful speech have built strong patterns that take persistent light to dissolve. Do not mistake temporary resistance for permanent impossibility. Doubt often rises like a shadow in these moments. It says, "Who are you to command life?" Look at the facts. See how little has changed. But this shadow has no substance. It is only fear attempting to reclaim its throne. You conquer it, not by reasoning with it, but by speaking louder with truth. As Florence declared, when man can wish without worrying, every desire will be instantly fulfilled. Replace doubt with gratitude before you see the manifestation. Replace fear with declarations of faith when appearances suggest failure. Each morning as these old voices arise, you answer with divine authority. I walk by faith, not by sight. The law of spirit is at work, and my good rushes to me even now. Visualize resistance like a thick fog. In the early hours, it clings heavily to the land, obscuring vision and chilling the air. But as the sun rises and light pours over the horizon, the fog cannot hold. It dissolves silently, revealing the beauty of the landscape that is always there. Morning declarations are this light. Each spoken word of truth is a ray that pierces the fog of doubt. At first, the fog may seem dense, unyielding, but keep speaking, keep shining, and inevitably the fog lifts, revealing the garden of abundance that has been growing in the unseen all along. Remember also, beloved, that resistance is a sign you are moving in the right direction. Old patterns resist change because they sense their end is near. The subconscious may protest, the ego may tremble, but this is only evidence that divine law is breaking through the walls of limitation that once kept you bound. Speak boldly into this resistance. I release every false belief. I uproot every thought of lack. I now stand in perfect faith, knowing that infinite Spirit has already prepared my victory. Trust the process. Continue watering the garden of your day with declarations of favor. Ignore appearances and resist the urge to measure progress by outward signs alone. Like a sculptor chiseling a masterpiece, much of the work is unseen until suddenly the form emerges in breathtaking beauty. Your mornings are reshaping your destiny one word at a time. And soon life will bend so dramatically in your favor that you will look back on these moments of doubt and smile, knowing they were only shadows fleeing the eternal light of truth you dared to speak. Beloved soul, as you rise each morning and speak with divine authority, know that you are not calling forth a random future, nor grasping at fleeting desires. You are aligning yourself with divine design, the perfect blueprint of your life that infinite spirit has already written upon the fabric of eternity. Florence Scovel Shinn revealed this sacred truth. There is a divine design for each man. The perfect pattern of his life is in the superconscious mind, the realm of inspiration. When you declare spiritual truth at dawn, you are not forcing life to bend against its nature. You are bending yourself into harmony with that higher pattern, allowing spirit to unfold your destiny without resistance or delay. Imagine your life as a magnificent tapestry woven by divine hands. Every thread is intentional, every color chosen in perfect wisdom. Yet through fear and doubt, many live as though they were stray threads tangled and disconnected from the grand design. They rise each morning wondering if life will favor them or forsake them, unaware that they are already part of a greater artistry beyond comprehension. Morning declarations are the way you take your place in this masterpiece, consciously allowing infinite intelligence to weave you back into the pattern meant only for you. This alignment is not about striving or struggle. It is about releasing every false pattern you've accepted from the world. Patterns of lack, failure, and limitation, and stepping fully into the spiritual architecture for your highest good. Divine design includes all that your heart truly desires: right work, perfect health, harmonious relationships, abundance, joy, and peace that cannot be disturbed. Nothing that belongs to your true pattern can ever be withheld, delayed, or destroyed. As Florence said, there is a supply for every demand. When you awaken and speak words of faith, you are signaling to Infinite Spirit that you are ready to receive what is already yours by divine right. Consider a musician tuning their instrument before a great concert. If even one string is slightly off pitch, the melody cannot soar as it was written. Likewise, if you awaken and remain in fear or speak words of defeat, you are like an untuned instrument, discordant with divine harmony. But when you rise and declare, "I am in perfect alignment with divine design. Every step I take is guided by infinite wisdom. My highest good now unfolds in miraculous ways," you allow Spirit to tune every aspect of your being to the symphony of heaven. The music of your destiny begins to play without strain, and life itself becomes a flowing masterpiece of divine orchestration. This alignment also dissolves every notion of competition or comparison. What is designed for you cannot belong to another, and what belongs to another cannot fulfill you. There is no need to grasp or fear, for divine design ensures that your supply is unique, abundant, and delivered in perfect timing. When you rise each morning and speak words of alignment, you quiet the noise of envy and doubt, resting in the certainty that your path is unlike any other and leads unfailingly to triumph. Picture now the invisible hands of Spirit arranging every thread of your day according to this divine pattern. Even as you speak, unseen forces move to connect you with the right people, open the perfect doors, and orchestrate events beyond human planning. By midday, you may encounter a conversation or opportunity that seems accidental, but is in truth the gentle weaving of divine design manifesting in visible form. Beloved, this is why morning declarations hold such power. They do not conjure miracles from nothingness. They awaken you to miracles already scripted in the eternal plan for your life. Each word you speak is like stepping into a current of divine order, allowing it to carry you with ease into the fulfillment of promises written for you long before fear ever spoke its first lie. Speak it boldly tomorrow. I now align with divine design. The pattern of my life is perfect and complete. Infinite Spirit directs every step, and all my good appears now in divine order. As these words imprint upon your subconscious, know that you are tuning every note of your being to heaven's melody, and life cannot help but bend to play the song of your divine destiny. Beloved soul, having aligned yourself with the divine design, let us now enter into a morning covenant with Spirit. An unbreakable bond, a sacred agreement renewed with every dawn, where you Consciously walk under the mantle of divine favor and dominion. A covenant is not a weak promise, nor a fleeting hope. It is a binding law between you and infinite spirit, a spiritual contract sealed in faith, declaring that every step you take is guided and glorified by divine power. When you awaken each morning and speak this covenant aloud, you are not simply starting your day. You are stepping into a holy partnership where heaven and earth unite to fulfill your highest good. Visualize yourself at sunrise, stand on sacred ground bathed in golden light. The sky glows with hues of promise, as though creation itself pauses to witness this moment of holy alignment. You lift your gaze to the heavens and place your hand upon your heart. Feel the quiet strength of spirit pulsing within you, steady as the beat of eternal love. As you inhale, you draw in divine wisdom. As you exhale, you release every shadow of fear and uncertainty. The morning becomes and within this temple, you and infinite spirit meet as one. Now speak this covenant with reverence and authority. Infinite Spirit, I rise this morning in full remembrance of my divine heritage. I am one with you and walk in harmony with your perfect law. I covenant this day to think, speak, and act in alignment with divine truth. I declare that favor surrounds me as a shield, that provision flows to me abundantly, and that every step I take is ordered in heavenly wisdom. In return, I trust you completely, resting in the assurance that all things are working together for my highest good. Feel the words settle into your soul, like a seal pressed upon ancient parchment. This covenant is not made with frail human intention. It is bound by spiritual law, irrevocable and eternal. Every force of heaven recognizes it, and unseen powers rush forth to uphold it. Angels take their places at your side as guardians and guides. The path ahead, once uncertain, now shines with divine illumination. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, "When man is faithful to his vision, the invisible forces of spirit move to bring it into visibility." This covenant is your daily act of faithfulness. It is the act of rising each morning, not as one uncertain of the day's outcome, but as a divine heir, walking into a world already prepared for victory. Through this covenant, you declare that you no longer live as a beggar of blessings, but as a partner with infinite intelligence, co-creating a life filled with abundance, joy, and miraculous unfoldment. See now the covenant's power as you step into your day. Every word you speak is backed by heaven's authority. Every decision is guided by intuition, sharpened by divine insight. Every challenge that dares approach dissolves before it reaches you, unable to stand against the law of spirit sealed upon your life. Even the smallest details, a meeting delayed, a stranger's kindness, a message arriving at just the right moment, bear the signature of divine orchestration. And as you close each day, you will look back in awe, recognizing the invisible hands that moved silently to shape your experiences into a masterpiece of grace. The covenant you spoke in the morning will echo through every hour, reminding you that you are never alone, never unguided, never outside the circle of divine provision. Beloved, do this each morning. Rise, enter the temple of dawn, and speak this holy covenant with unshakable faith. Let it be your first thought, your first breath, your first word to the universe. And know that when heaven hears such a covenant, it does not delay. It does not waver. It moves instantly, bending all of life to uphold the promise sealed between you and infinite spirit. Walk forth as one under divine contract and watch as miracles unfold, not as exceptions, but as the natural expression of your unbroken partnership with God. Beloved soul, as we draw near the conclusion of this sacred teaching, it is time to rise fully into your spiritual dominion and take hold of the mantle of power that has been waiting for you all along. Everything you have heard, the law of the spoken word, the revelation of divine favor, the release from powerlessness, the alignment with divine design, and the holy covenant of the morning has been preparing you for this moment of final empowerment. This is where you step out of the old story of hesitation and into the living reality of spiritual authority, where you no longer question if heaven heeds you because you know that the forces of spirit move the instant your word goes forth. Stand now in the temple of your own soul. Feel the energy rising within you like a holy fire that cannot be quenched. That fire is the Christ within, the indestructible present infinite spirit that knows no defeat, no delay, no lack. You are not a fragile being tossed by circumstance. You are the divine commander of your destiny, a living co-creator with God, a vessel of light sent to demonstrate the law of abundance and harmony on earth. Every morning that you awaken, you hold in your hands the scepter of spiritual dominion. This scepter is your word, and when spoken in faith, it is more powerful than armies, more decisive than chance, more enduring than time itself. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, "The game of life is a game of boomerangs. Man's thoughts, deeds, and words return to him sooner or later with astounding accuracy. From this moment, you will speak only words that create life, words that call forth victory, words that bend every hour of your day into alignment with divine perfection. Declare with me now, beloved, in the full might of your spiritual authority, I set my day in divine order and favor. Now infinite spirit goes before me, preparing the way. No power opposes me, for I am surrounded by a shield of heavenly protection. I walk in abundance. I move in joy. I radiate light and attract only that which belongs to my highest good. I am fearless. I am faithful. I am triumphant. For God within me is victorious in all things." Let these words echo in every corner of your being. See them etched in golden letters across the sky of your consciousness. Know that as you speak them each morning, life cannot do otherwise than obey. Doors will open. Rivers of provision will surge toward you, and opportunities will appear in perfect timing. Even obstacles that once seemed immovable will collapse like walls of sand before the tide of divine law moving through your decree. This is your call to action. Rise each day, not as one who hopes, but as one who knows. Do not let a single dawn pass without speaking your authority into the silence. Before you touch your phone, before you rehearse yesterday's troubles, step into the temple of morning light and issue your decree. Speak to the mountains of fear and watch them move. Speak to the rivers of blessing and watch them flow. Speak to every hour ahead and watch it bend to serve your highest destiny. No longer do you walk as one pleading for favor. You walk as one who carries favor as your No longer do you stumble in uncertainty. You move in perfect rhythm with infinite spirit. No longer do you live as a victim of fate. You are a victor of divine law, crowned with glory, and clothed in majesty as you command your mornings, and through them command all of life itself. Beloved, hear this final truth. The word you speak in the morning is the spark that lights the fire of destiny. Speak it with conviction. Speak it with love. Speak it as a king, as a divine heir of infinite intelligence. And as you do, heaven will rise to meet your faith. Earth will bow to your decree. And every day of your life will unfold as living testament to the unstoppable power of the spoken word. Beloved soul, let us now enter the stillness, seal this sacred teaching with a closing spoken word prayer. Not as a ritual, not as a hope, but as a holy command, a declaration sent forth into the unseen with the full authority of Spirit. You are not speaking to a distant God, but to the infinite presence that lives within you, around you, and as you. This prayer is the sacred flame that lights the altar of your morning, the final note that sets all of heaven's orchestration into motion. Let it pour from your lips like offering of gold, a fragrant oil of truth, an unshakable decree that life bends now. This day, in your favor, close your eyes, take a slow and steady breath, and let your heart expand. Let the peace of God, which passes all understanding, settle over your mind, your body, your home. Let the rush of thought be still, for you are no longer a seeker. You are a speaker of truth. You are now the voice of divine law, the scribe of your destiny, the prophet of your own unfolding good. Now pray with me word by word from the eternal temple of your soul. Infinite Spirit, this day, I rise in sacred remembrance of who I am. I am one with divine power, one with divine wisdom, one with divine favor. I give thanks that every hour of this day is clothed in light and ordered by love. I declare that my steps are guided, my hands are blessed, my words are anointed, and my path is paved in peace and prosperity. I walk not alone, but with the full force of heaven moving before me. Let your spirit lean deeper, now into trust. Release all resistance. Feel the gates of heaven open wide as you continue. I cancel every false belief spoken over me. I erase every mental picture of lack, fear, struggle, or delay. They are powerless, they are nothing. I speak now the truth that sets me free. I am a magnet for all that is, mine by divine right. I live in the overflow of goodness. I receive from expected and unexpected channels. I prosper without toil. I succeed without fear. I rise without resistance. For I am aligned with the rhythm of divine law. Breathe deeply as these words take root. Picture them wrapping around your day like golden threads in a robe of power. I forgive the past. I bless the present. I claim the future. I walk in divine timing, divine wisdom, divine order. Every encounter today is holy. Every action today is prosperous. Every word today is life-giving. No weapon formed against me can prosper, for I dwell in the secret place of the Most High and abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Feel yourself rising now, your spine lengthening, your heart softening, your soul glowing like the sun at high noon. Thank you, Infinite Spirit, that it is already done. Thank you that life now bends in my favor. Thank you that this day is blessed, anointed, overflowing with the evidence of divine love. I call this day good. I call this day rich. I call this day peaceful, powerful, and perfect in every way. I go forth with joy, with boldness, and with the assurance that my good cannot be delayed, denied, or diminished. It is mine now and forever. Pause in silence. Let the prayer echo. Let it ripple through every layer of your being. You are now the vibration of divine success. You are now the expression of spiritual authority. You are now the living word of favor made flesh. As you open your eyes and begin your day, remember this prayer is not behind you. It walks with you, before you and through you. Speak it as often as needed. Let it be the staff in your hand, the fire in your heart, the compass of your decisions. With this spoken word, life cannot help but rearrange itself in your favor. With this prayer, the day is sealed. The covenant is active. The promise is kept. This morning, your word has gone forth. This morning, divine overflow has begun. And so it is. Amen. Thank you.